What is up? What is up? What is up, YouTube? It is Zar-Kombat. It's the biggest night of the year, man. It's biggest, the biggest fight day of the year is upon us. UFC 319 is going down tomorrow. For us South African fans, it's going down tomorrow morning on Sunday. It is around 10 a.m. in South Africa right now. It's Saturday. Let me know where you guys are watching from, and so I want to know where you're watching from, guys. So UFC 319, man, I cannot be more excited. The biggest fight of the year. DDP, the South African Golden Boy, the African champion, the real African champion, is fighting Khamzat Chimayv. Biggest fight of the year, man. This is the biggest fight of the year. The last time I think I was this excited for a fight was probably UFC. I don't know. I think UFC 257. Dustin Poirier versus Conor McGregor 2. Because that was the first time I got to watch Conor McGregor fight live. I had never seen him fight live before. Um, because I only started watching the UFC in 2019, and Connor's last fight before 2021 was in 2018. So before this, the biggest fights I had been this hyped for was UFC 257, Poirier versus McGregor 2. But man, I've got to say, Dricus Duplaci versus Khamzat Chimaev, I have never been more excited for a fight. And it's not even, I mean, obviously Dricus is South African, and I'm gonna back. I'm always gonna support whoever's carrying our flag as a country. But man, it's just like this fight, stylistically, like I just don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know, and that's why I love the sport so much. That's why I love MMA so much. That's why I love the UFC so much. It's because you never ever know. You know what I mean? And especially with this fight, it's like you really don't know. Like other fights and other pay per views, you've got an idea of how someone is gonna win, or what may happen. But with this chaotic clash of two absolute titans in Dracos Duplessis and Khamzat Chimaev, you just don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow morning. Is is Dracos gonna come out and you know ragdoll Chimaev? Is Chimaev gonna come out and ragdoll Dracos Duplessis? Is it gonna be a 5 round war? Is it gonna end in round one? Is someone gonna get knocked out in the later? Listen, I don't know, and that's why I love this fight so much. Dracos Duplessis versus Khamzat Chimaev. It's going down. This is Zar-Kombat's final pre-fight live stream. I will be live streaming UFC 319 tomorrow morning, so make sure you're live for that. But yeah, man, I just want to go over the fight card, the main card, the prelims, and the early prelims, and just give you guys of what I think is gonna go down tomorrow morning. I cannot be more excited, so let's get straight into it. Let's start with the early prelims. Unfortunately, Brian Battle versus Ruzibov has been cancelled. Brian Battle, he is this fight was supposed to go down at 185 pounds. Brian Battle obviously is a welterweight. He had problem making weight. The last time he fought Randy Brown, he was 4 pounds overweight. And again, man, I was so upset seeing this news earlier this morning that Brian Battle moved up to 185 pounds and still wasn't able to make weights. I mean, how hard can it be making weights a division above? It does not make any sense. Unfortunately, Rubivov could not accept the fight. He was guaranteed a 30%. He was guaranteed 30% of the money that Brian Battle was going to get in the fight. But unfortunately, man, Rubivov said he cannot take this fight. He felt that Brian Battle had too much advantage over him with the 4 pounds. And yeah, man, unfortunately, the fight is cancelled. It would have been an awesome fight because both guys are massive strikers. They love to stand up. Rubivov, as much as he is Russian, I'm not sure if he's Russian or he's Dagestani or he's one of those from those other countries, those Kyrgyzstan or whatever. But he comes from a country where there's heavy wrestling, and unfortunately for us, he doesn't really focus on the wrestling much. He is a complete striker at heart. So it would have been a fun fight, Brian Battle versus Rubivov. It has been cancelled. I don't think it's going to be remade because both guys are welterweights. I think the next time we see them, they will be fighting at welterweights, especially Rubivov. He could have made welterweights. I know for facts that Rubivov, the next time he fights, it will be at welterweights. As for Brian Battle, man, I don't know. I'm not sure whether he's gonna come back down to welterweights or he's moving up to middleweights, trying to make that weight, or maybe even light heavyweights. Brian Battle used to be very, very big. He fought at his amateur fights back in the day with heavyweights. So we'll see, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens. So the first fight of the night. The first fight of the night. Hold on, guys. I'll be back. Just give me a moment. I am back, guys. Sorry for the interruption, but yeah, man. So the first fight of the night, the very first fight of the night at UFC 319 is Edson Barbosa versus Jakar Close. Edson Barbosa, obviously a legend. He's been in the UFC for a very, very long time now. I think Edson Barbosa is having his in 2025. It's his 15th year in the UFC. He debuted back in 2010. Yeah, he debuted in 2010. So 15 years in the UFC. Congratulations to Edson Barbosa. He is moving back up to lightweight. He's fighting Jakar Close. I think this is gonna be an impressive win from Barbosa. It is. Jakar Close, obviously, he's not a slouch. He's got good ground game. He's got good BJJ. But I think Edson Barbosa, the experience is gonna be too much. Yeah, man, the experience, the striking, the kicks that come out of nowhere. So I think Jakar Close versus Edson Barbosa. I'm taking Barbosa for that one. The very first fight of the night, Edson Barbosa versus Jakar Close. I've got Edson Barbosa by I'm gonna say KO. I think he KOs Jakar Close. Jakar Close doesn't have the best stand up, and I hope Barbosa wins because I've been a fan of his for a very long time now. I don't think he's ever been in a boring fight unless he fought those Russian guys that like to wrestle a lot. But if he's fighting a guy that's gonna stand up with him on the feet, I've got Edson Barbosa. And then we move on into the prelims. We've got the first fight on the prelims. Chase Hooper versus Alexander Hernandez. Chase Hooper. I've been watching these memes on Instagram of Chase Hooper, of him wearing a do-rag and him being from the hood, and it's funny. Chase Hooper, man, he's one of the funniest guys in the UFC right now. I absolutely love that guy. He's funny. He fights crazy. He's got very, very elite BJJ. His ground game is one of the best at lightweights. Alexander Hernandez, I haven't seen him fight in a very long time, man. I think what we most know Alexander Hernandez for is getting knocked out by Donald Cowboy Cerrone. Other than that, man, he's had a couple of good fights in the UFC. He's been around for a while also. He's also been around for a while. He's been around for a while. Alexander Hernandez. But for this fight, man, I think it's gonna be very, very competitive. But I'm gonna be biased. I love Chase Hooper, guys. Chase Hooper's the funniest guy in the UFC right now. You should go check out his Instagram. He's absolutely funny. So for just that reason alone, I want Chase Hooper to win. I'm not gonna do a prediction on that one because I think it's I don't really watch both guys fights a lot, but I just want Chase Hooper to win because he's the funniest guy in the UFC. Him and Paulo Costa are the top two funniest guys in the UFC. So Chase Hooper, I hope you get the W. I know you've got a baby, a young baby, so do it for the baby, do it for the hood, do it for the black community, the African Americans in America. Do it for us, your African brothers here in South Africa. Chase Hooper for the W. I will be supporting him. So hopefully he wins. And then we move on into the second fight in the prelims. We've got Andraj versus Godinez. Andraj, obviously a former champion at strawweight. And then Godinez has been on a tear. I think in 2024, she fought like 5 times, I believe. Uh, she should have gotten the female fighter of the year based on her activity alone. But I think it'll be a good fight. I've got Godinez on that one. I think Godinez has got enough. I think she's gonna be faster than Andraj. I think she's gonna put a pace on Andraj. It's gonna be hard for her to handle. As much as Andraj has been in the UFC forever, she's a former champion. She's faced everyone from Valentina Shevchenko to Zhang Weili to Rose Namajunas to Alexa Grasso. She's literally faced everyone. Tracy Cortez. She's been there. She's seen them all. But she is older. I think she's above 35. Godinez is young. She's hungry. So Andraj versus Godinez. I've got Godinez winning that one. Before I continue with the UFC 319 card, let me read some of your comments, guys, and react to some of your comments. Let's see. We've got C Megia saying both seem unbeatable. I'm assuming you're talking about DDP and Khamzat. Yeah, man, both guys are basically unbeatable, man. We've got IBY saying DDP will survive the first 2 rounds. I hope so. I hope so. Again, guys, I am South African, so I want DDP to win. I want the belt to stay here in South Africa with us where it belongs. I want the UFC to come to South Africa, Johannesburg, Durban, any one of those 2 cities so I can come and see it live. So DDP has to win so they can bring the UFC to South Africa. Let's check another comment by Akmal Boy Akmal saying you say Laka my bro Laka, how's it going there? IPY again with another comment saying after that a tired Khamzat can't do anything to DDP. Yeah, man, there's been a lot said about Khamzat Chimayev's cardio. We're gonna have to wait and see, man. Khamzat Chimayv, we have to remember, he was sick for a very long time. I think he got COVID a couple of years ago and had to pull out of a lot of fights. He had problems with his cardio. We saw he had problems with his cardio in the Gilbert Burns fights, in the Kamaru Usman fights. So we're gonna have to wait and see, man. Sunday morning, it's only a few hours away, but yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see. Let's read another comment from C Megia again, saying genuine unstoppable objects meets immovable object scenario. Again, man, the biggest fight ever, or at least the biggest fights in my opinion, man. I mean, immovable force versus an unstoppable force. Like, this is the best matchup the UFC has done in years, man. So I cannot wait. Let's read another comment from Mr. Rev83. Can you say my name? It's Herat. What is up, Herat? Hope you're well. Hope you're good. Another comment. Hi, Def 495. Saying, why your eyes so far apart? I never noticed my eyes are so far apart, man. I don't know. I guess I was born that way. Let's read one more comment. before I continue with the live prediction, we've got SA math class. SA math class in the building. I've seen you guys on my comments before. I appreciate the support. There's a bunch of comments from them. SA math class says hello. What is up, bro? He says Khamzat is gonna win. That's crazy, man. That's crazy that your account is called SA math class, South African math class, and you're rooting for Khamzat. I'm disappointed. So okay, one more comment until I one more comment before I go to before I continue with the predictions. Um Itachi Uchiha says, who do you think is gonna win, DDP or Khamzat? I'm still doing the predictions, so stay along. I will be doing the predictions for the main card. We were on the prelims. We're back into the prelims. Let's go to Jared Mersard versus Alan Sheshek. Jared Mersard versus Alan Sheshek. That's going down at middleweight. That's Dragos Duplaci's division. Jared Mersard went viral for losing to Khamzat Chimayv in 20 seconds, I think it was. Chimayv knocked him out. But again, man, Mersard has been known to he's been around for a while. He's faced absolute veterans, he's faced up and comers, and sometimes he comes up short, sometimes he wins, but it's always a fun fight when he's in there. Olan Sheshek, I think the last time we saw him was at UFC 311. No. I think it was at UFC London, if I'm not mistaken, and I think he got a win. But the last fight that I remember of his clearly was at UFC 311 when he lost to Kevin Holland by submission. So yeah, man, Jared Mersard versus Alan Sheshek, two veterans that are gonna go to war. I can guarantee you right now, this fight is gonna be exciting unless if Alan Sheshek decides to take it to the ground and submits Mersard early. But again, we have to remember, Jared Mersard is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. He's got very, very good ground game. He's experienced. He is a veteran. So I'm predicting that this fight is gonna be a war. I think it's gonna be a fun one, and I would like to see Mersard win because every time he wins, it's like he loses the first two rounds and then he comes into the third round and out of nowhere he pulls a Dracus Duplaci and a Rainier Derrida type of scenario and he just finds a way to win. So I'm hoping he does that. But if I were a betting man, I would go for Alan Sheshek. I think Alan Sheshek is just he's got the better stand up. He is a much more complete fighter than Mersard. But yeah, man, Jared Mersard versus Alan Sheshek. I've got Alan Sheshek on that one. And then, guys, unfortunately, Bobby Green, or should I say King Green, versus Diego Ferreira was supposed to go down tomorrow. It is cancelled. I'm not sure what happened. I don't know what's the reason behind the fight being cancelled. I was really excited to see Bobby Green back. I love his style. I love his stand up. He's one of the best boxers in the UFC. I would have loved to have seen that fight tomorrow, but it's not gonna go down tomorrow. I would hope that the UFC tries to get this fight done later during the year. Um, Unfortunately, it's not going down tomorrow. We're gonna have to wait for them to get that fight rebooked. But yeah, man, that's it for the prelims. So again, guys, I'm gonna go over my predictions for the prelims. The early prelims, we've got Babosa versus Chikar. I've got Edson Babosa putting on a vintage performance against Chikar and getting the W. And then we've got Chase Hooper versus Hernandez. I think Chase Hooper gets the submission. Chase Hooper from the hood. He is black. He's not white. At least that's what his Instagram says. He loves wearing a do-rag. For that reason alone, I think he wins. I think he gets the submission. And I want Chase Super to get the W. Jessica Andraj versus Godinez. For that fight, I've got Godinez getting the W. I think Godinez is younger. Godinez is faster. Godinez is slicker on the feet. She's got the better stand up. And yeah, and I think Godinez gets the W in that one. Godinez gets the W in that one. And then the final fights on the prelims. Well, not the final fight. Another fight on the prelims. We've got Mersard versus Sheshek. Two fights. A fight against two veterans in the UFC that've been around for a very long time. I've got Sheshek winning that fight. I think he gets a decision over Mersard. But I do think it's going to be a fun fight. I think it's going to be a war. And Sheshek gets the W. Another fight that is in the prelims. I forgot this guy's name. He was on Dana White's Contender Series. The guy that I think is one of Hamzat's friends. He's fighting another guy from the Dana White's Contender Series. I'm not really sure about. I don't really have much information on those two guys. The fight literally got made this week. They were fighting on the Contender Series on Tuesday, and now they're making their debut next tomorrow. So congratulations to those guys. I wish I knew your names and your how to pronounce your names, but I can't wait to watch that fight tomorrow morning. And yeah, guys, that's it for the prelims. The prelims, I would give it a solid 7 out of 10. We've got some veterans on there. We've got some young guns on there. Edson Babosa, Chase Hooper, Jared Mersard. It's gonna be a fun fight, man. Fun fights. A lot of fun fights on the prelims. But then we move on to the main card. For my money, I would say the biggest main card of the year thus far. I cannot wait for UFC 319, guys. Like, I am so excited. I cannot wait. So let's dive straight into the main card predictions. The first fight of the night, two flyweights. We've got the veteran Tim Elliot fighting the young gun, making his second UFC fight. Kaya Sakura, former Japanese champion. He's a well-known guy in Japan, one of the biggest stars in Asia. Tim Elliott versus Kaya Sakura, man, it's gonna be an explosive fight. It's gonna be an explosive fight. I do not see that fight going past the first round. I don't see it going past the first round. For this fight, I've got Kaya Sakura, man. Kaya Sakura, he made his debut last year in December against the champion in Alexandra Pantoja. Kaya Sakura did lose by submission, but he gave Pantoja, the champion, a run for his money for as long as the fight went. So Tim Elliott has been around for a very long time. He's a veteran. He's faced everyone. Your Brandon Moreno, your Davison Figueiredo, your Manel Kapp. He's been there, done that. But I think Kaya Sakura, man. I'm very confident that Kaya Sakura gets the W. I think it's a first round TKO, maybe a flying knee and some ground and pound to get the job done. Massive fights at flyweight. Kaya Sakura has the opportunity to become a ranked flyweight. So yeah, man. Tim Elliott versus Kaya Sakura. I've got Kaya Sakura getting the W. Tell me what you think. Let me know below. And then we move on into another fight at middleweight. A fight that, for me personally, I'm very, very excited for. Two veterans that have been around for a very, very long time in MMA. We've got Jared Cananeer, the killer gorilla, versus Michael Venom Paige. MVP making his second fight at middleweight. MVP had that he faced, what's this guy's name? The Dagestani. Skara Skara Bullets. He faced Skara Bullets at UFC Saudi Arabia. He did get the W MVP. It was a very dominant performance by him. Jared Cananeer, the last time we saw him, he went to war with Robocop. It was an absolute war. He had to face a lot of adversity in the first round, but he did come up. He did gain the momentum and get the TKO over RoboCop. So man, Jared Cannonier versus Michael Venom Page. I think Michael Venom Page gets the W. Now let me explain. Michael Venom Page. He's gonna be very very faster than Jared Cannonier. And another thing, guys, we have to remember that Jared Cannonier, he is the oldest fighter fighting in UFC 319. He is 41 years old. Michael Venom Page, he's also a bit old. He's 39, but he doesn't get hits a lot, and he hasn't really been in wars. He likes to just keep the distance and counter strike. So I've got MVP winning that fight. I think it's gonna be a dominant. I think it's gonna be a dominant performance by MVP. I think what MVP is gonna do is, if you remember the boarding fight that Adesanya and Jared Cannonier had back in 2022, I think it was. I think that's the approach that MVP is gonna have. I don't think it's gonna be a fun fight. I hope I'm wrong. I really, really hope I'm wrong because I like both these guys. But I don't see it being an exciting fight. I don't see it being a rock'em sock'em, blood everywhere type of fight. But I see just MVP dominating. Just I just see MVP dominating this fight. Keeping the range, counter striking, and leg kicks. Maybe throwing a couple flashy elbows here and there, but I've got MVP winning by decision. So that is my prediction for Cannonier versus Page. I've got Michael Venom Page winning by decision. Before I move on to the other fights, before I move on to Jeff Neal versus Pratz, let's read a few comments from you guys. We've got football fans saying, "Can I donate?" Guys, I've been having a hard time trying to get my PayPal right. I live in South Africa, so PayPal doesn't really work here. But the only way that you guys can begin to donate for me is if I get to 1,000 subscribers, and then I can get going with the membership and everything like that. So let's try and get my subscribers up, so then you can be able to donate for me. So football fans, there's a comment here by football fans asking, "Can I donate?" I am still working on my PayPal. Hopefully, I can get it done soon. But until then, guys, let's keep getting my subscribers up. If you love MMA, follow Zar-Kombat. Only then can you begin to actually donate. But yeah, guys, let's get my subscribers up. And anyone that loves MMA, I've got live reactions to basically every pay-per-view since 2021. So if you love MMA, if you love the UFC, go check out my channel. Another comment by let's read here. Another comment by Johan Resta Shirista. Johan Shirista says, "Does he have stand up?" Not sure who you're talking about, bro. So can you just tell me in the comments who you're asking, who you're talking about? And then another comment by Drizzy Goat saying you got Khamzat by submission. Nah, man, I still haven't done my prediction for DDP versus Khamzat. So just stay on the live stream. I will be doing DDP versus Khamzat soon. Just reading a few comments, and then I'm back onto the main card prediction. We've got another comment here saying we've got Drizzy Goat saying he's got Khamzat by round 1 submission. That's also a good prediction. You've got Scapilius. We've got Scapilius TV. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Scapilius TV saying Islam or Ilya. Do I have Islam or Ilya Topuria? That is a good question, bro. Listen, if you asked me this last year, I would have said easily Islam Makhachev. But then I saw what Ilya Topuria did to my boy Charles Oliveira. I will never forgive Ilya Topuria for what he did to Charles Oliveira. But it was a good fight. Islam or Ilya Topuria. If I had just to give a prediction off the dome, I would say Islam Makhachev. I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate, but I think Islam Makhachev is bigger. I think he takes him down and just grinds him out and gets a submission. So Islam Makhachev versus Ilya Topuria. I've got Islam Makhachev. Another comment by Meow Meow Meow. That's that's a funny handle, bro. Meow Meow Meow. He says I think DDP has a chance. Of course he has a chance, bro. He's the champion. He does have a chance. We've got see here another comment. Drizzy Goats saying that little man baby Andraj is going to get destroyed. I also think she's gonna lose to Godinez. I think Godinez gets the W. We've got Drizzy Goat saying he's from New Zealand. Shout out to New Zealand. Ashay, Ashay, Ashay. We've got SA Math Class saying, "What is your language? What is your language?" For those of you in the comments, I am South African, so I am Zulu. Proudly Zulu. Gumzulu. Yeah, man, I speak Zulu. That is my my language. Let's read one more comment before we move on to the main card. The rest of the main card predictions. We've got Rajesh Radod. We've got Rajesh saying DDP would definitely beat Khamzat, and he's takes his first big L against DDP. So Rajesh is saying that DDP is gonna get the W. That's a good prediction, man. That's a good prediction. One more comment before I go on to the rest of the main card prediction. We've got Tyler Scott saying, "Dog, the event doesn't start for 11 hours." That's right, man. For us in South Africa, it is 1 p.m. right now. It is 1 p.m. right now. So the fight is gonna go down tomorrow morning at around, I think around 7 a.m. So yeah, it's around 12 hours, I think. Yeah. And then one more comment from Walter Wheels. Islam versus JDM prediction. That is gonna be a fun fight. That is gonna be a fun fight. But if I had to give a prediction right now, man, I think what JDM did against Bilal, if the JDM that fought Bilal shows up against Islam Makhachev at UFC 322, I think JDM gets it done, boys. I think JDM might get it done. But yeah, man, let's go back onto the main card predictions. We move on to Jeff Neal versus Carlos I Smoke Cigarettes Pratz. Carlos Pratz, man, for me, is my favorite fighter at welterweight. He's got the best stand-up in the UFC, in my opinion, right now. Jeff Neal, he's a veteran. He's been there. He's seen it all. He defeated Bilal Muhammad, so I will always be a fan of his. just because he KO'd Bilal Muhammad. But yeah, man, it's gonna be a fun fight. It's gonna be a fun fight. It's gonna be on the feet. It will not be a boring fight. It'll be an exciting fight that does not go past 2 rounds. I don't think it goes past 2 rounds unless Jeff Neal decides to wrestle. I mean, it would be smart of it would be a smart game plan for Jeff Neal to wrestle Carlos Prats, but I don't see that happening. So Carlos Prats has the best stand up in the UFC. I think he KOs Jeff Neal. I think a liver shot, maybe a head kick. I don't know. I think Prats gets the victory over Jeff Neal. That is my prediction for Jeff Neal versus Carlos Prats. I've got Carlos Prats early round 2 KO. Let me know if you agree or if you disagree. Tell me below. And then we move on to the co-main event. The co-main event, you've got Lerone Murphy versus Aaron Pico. I hope that this is gonna be a fun fight. I was watching the face-offs, and I think Lerone Murphy and Aaron Pico had the best face-off of anyone that is on the main card. But yeah, man, I think if I had to just pick off the bat, I'm gonna have to go with Lerone Murphy. You know, and not because I'm a fan of his or anything like that. I just think that Lerone Murphy has much more high level experience, much higher level experience in terms of competition than Aaron Pico. Aaron Pico obviously is coming from Bellator. Um, I don't think Aaron Pico has faced anyone like Lerone Murphy. But Aaron Pico, I was watching his highlights from Bellator. He's got a couple KOs, but you know, I never really watched Bellator like that, so I don't know if it was against high level competition or if it was against just trash cans. But yeah, man, Aaron Pico, I don't really have much to say about the guy. I'm not familiar with this game. I never really watched Bellator, but Lerone Murphy, he's been in the UFC for a while now. He's got wins over Dan Ige, Americani. He's got wins over Josh Emmett. So, you know, Aaron Pico, most people are picking him because he's got the KO power, but we know that Lerone Murphy is able to fight against guys that are very, very explosive. He got over Josh Emmett last year. So for that alone, I'm gonna have to go with Lerone Murphy, having much more experience in the UFC. Obviously Pico is debuting, so he doesn't have any experience in the UFC. But I think the experience is gonna speak for itself. I just hope that it's a fun fight. I hope I hope Aaron Pico delivers. I really hope Aaron Pico delivers because he got the opportunity of a lifetime. Most guys never come onto the UFC and debut on the co-main event of a pay-per-view, and especially the biggest pay-per-view of the year. So Aaron Pico, I hope he delivers, but I've got Lerone Murphy winning that one by decision. And then we move on to the biggest fight of the year. Drakus still knocks Duplaci, the South African goat boy, the African goat, the real African champion is fighting Khamzat Boz Chimayv all the way from Chechen. Listen, man, again, guys, I have never been so excited for a fight. The fact that this fight is I think it's still like 18 hours. No. I think it's around 15 hours from now. I don't know how I'm gonna sleep tonight, knowing that this fight is happening tomorrow. But yeah, man, DDP versus Khamzat Chimayv, the biggest fight of the year. A lot of people have been having a hard time predicting this fight. I mean, it's the most chaotic matchup in the history of the middleweight division. The most chaotic, the most I don't know, man. I'm so excited. It's like you just don't know what's gonna happen. Even if you have a prediction, You don't really know what's gonna happen. But yeah, man, I think Dracus Duplaci gets the job done, boys. I think Dracus Duplaci gets the job done. And I'm not saying this because I'm South African and I'm being biased. Obviously, I want DDP to win. I want the belts to stay here in Africa. But I was watching the weigh-ins and I was looking at the, like the body language and how both those guys were reacting to each other during the face-off, and you know um, the weigh-in shows at the weigh-ins. I was watching the weigh-ins and you just don't know. And Khamzat Chimaev keeps yelling, and you know most of the time it's always the guy that's quiet and very confident and just you know it's always that guy that gets the W. And man, I just hope I think Dracos Duplessis gets the job done in round two. I know many people are predicting this fight to either go to Khamzat Chimaev in round one by submission or Dracos Duplessis by a late finish. But gonna go to war. I think Khamzat Chimaev is gonna take him down. I think Dracus is gonna get back up. I think Khamzat is gonna take him down again. I think Khamzat is gonna go for different submissions. I think Dracus Duplessis is gonna take all those submissions. I think Khamzat is gonna get tired, and then when they come out in round two, they're gonna stand up. I think Dracus Duplessis is gonna hurt Chimaev on the feet in round two. Chimaev goes down, ground and pound by DDP, and there you have it. And still, UFC middleweight champion of the world, Dracus still knocks Duplessis. That is my official prediction. I've got DDP winning the fights. That's my official prediction. I'm ready for all the hates. I'm ready. I'm ready for all the hates. I'm ready for all you guys to tell me that I'm wrong or I'm right. But yeah, man, I've got DDP winning the fight. Round two, TKO. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm running out of time, so I wanna read your comments before I go, and let's read a few comments before I end the live stream, guys. Again, guys, my official prediction: I've got Dracos Duplessis beating Khamzat Chimaev in round two. Tell me what you think. I want to know your predictions. Tell me in chat. And again, guys, please subscribe. I need to get my followers up. I mean, I need to get my subscriptions up so I can really do something with this YouTube thing. But yeah, man, let's read a few comments. We've got Khabib saying, "Are you ready to have your merchant boy smashed?" DDP is getting the W, man. Come to me at listen, I will be live tomorrow for UFC 319. So tomorrow when the fight is live, check out my live stream and tell me in the chat when DDP wins. Tell me in the chat that I was wrong. We've got Khabib again saying you're disrespecting a wolf. Listen, Khamzat Chimaev might be the wolf, but we've got DDP here in South Africa, boy. DDP is our lion. He's the lion. He's the African lion. He's the real African goat. He's the African champion. A wolf may howl, but a lion is always gonna roar. A lion is the king of the jungle. Remember that. We've got he FRM dot 901 saying, "Do you count Adesanya and Usman as African champs?" Of course they are. You know, as much as they didn't really, I think Kamaru Usman is more of an African champion than Adesanya was. I mean, both guys are from Africa, or at least their parents are from here, so they did a lot to put the spotlight on Africa. And you know what Kamaru Usman, Adesanya, and Francis Ngannou did when they were the champs at the same time. I'll forever be grateful for that. So I do count them as African champions, man. Let's read a few more comments. Daniel Williams says DDP takes to win in round 3. DDP in round 3. I've got DDP in round 2. Another comment. Khabib says, I hope you stay this ambitious after the fights. I will be. I will be. Because I know Drakus is going to win. I know Drakus is going to win because he's an African GOAT. Maybe, I think, who knows? I think DDP has platoma. He's got platoma. He might pull out a hammer. He might, drop a piano from the sky and, throw the piano on Khamzat Chimayv. I know you guys saw all the memes. But, yeah, man, I've got DDP winning that fight. Another comment from FRM that 901 saying DDP is losing to Bilal. It's gonna be an awkward fight. DDP is not fighting Bilal, bro. DDP is fighting Khamzat. So I don't know how to answer your comments. And then we've got Timmy Tom Tony saying, "Where are you from?" I am from South Africa, man. I know people are saying I'm biased because I'm from South Africa, but I'm not even being biased, man. I genuinely think that Dracos Duplaci is just better than Khamzat Chimayv, man. He's faced higher level competition. Even outside of the UFC, he's faced higher level competition. He was a 2 divisional champion here in South Africa for the EFC. He was a champion in KSW. He's got I think in kickboxing, he went 33-0 in his amateur fights. So Dracus is the African GOAT, man. He is going to win that fight. Another comment from that 901 saying, I'm talking about the fight tonight. I'm not sure what you mean by that, bro. But one last comment. Okay, two more comments. I think Timmy Tom Tony saying, I think DDP destroys Khamzat and I'm Canadian. Yeah, man, DDP is gonna win. That is my prediction. A question for you, Timmy. I think UFC 297 Dracus versus Strickland 1 was in Canada. Were you there for that fight? We've got Khabib saying, I want to ask you, my dear brother, did you know that in his last fight, Khamzat did not have anyone who could withstand him, even in the first round? Yeah, in his last fights, it was a good win. It was a good win when he finished Robert Whittaker in round 1. But we have to remember, guys, Khamzat Chimayv was supposed to fight Robert Whittaker earlier, and Khamzat Chimayv pulled out, and then he fought Robert Whittaker. I think it was 8 weeks after they were supposed to fight. So Khamzat did have the submission. We have to remember that. And then with the Kamaru Usman fight, if it was 5 rounds, Usman would have won, but it was an impressive fight. And then against Kevin Holland, I think that was, his last 3 fights, Khamzat Chimayv, Robert Whittaker, Kamaru Usman, and Kevin Holland. Against Whittaker, it was a good performance. I'm not going to lie. Against Usman, it could have gone either way, but it was also a good fight. But then against Kevin Holland, that was an easy fight for him. A few more comments. Again, another one from Timmy Tom Tony saying, I was going to go to the fight but the tickets were very expensive. Yeah, man, I've heard that the UFC is the tickets are very, very expensive, man. I'm hoping when they come into South Africa they do a stadium, because when they do arenas, it's always expensive because it's there's only a few seats. So when they do arenas, the UFC is always gonna have expensive tickets. But when they do stadium shows, I've heard that are much cheaper. The tickets are much cheaper. So I hope when they come to South Africa, it is Um, it is a stadium show, so the tickets are much cheaper. As one head, Buama comment, la mamba lokho be-comment. As ngokwazi ungibekezelela kancane. Awukho lokho be-comment la buhamba ngakanani. Kancane nje kancane. Another comment from Native Combat. He's saying Usman would have won if it was 5 round, but lost the third. No logic there. Again, guys, yeah, I could be wrong. You could be right. Native Combat. I think if I remember correctly, if I do remember correctly, I don't remember Usman losing the third round. I think Khamzat won the first round. Usman definitely won the second round. And then, in my opinion, Usman won the third round. I had Usman winning that fight. Usman won that fight for me. But then, obviously the fight was in Abu Dhabi. And it is, Khamzat Chimayev's country. So I think the judges kind of gave him that fight. I could be wrong, guys. But if you believe that, Khamzat won that fight, I'm not gonna argue with you, bro. But I still think Usman would have won that fight. Or rather, not even won, but I think if Khamzat Chimaev versus Kamaru Usman would have went 5 rounds, I think Usman would have finished him. I think he would have finished him. We've got Jesus Christ Lord saying, who do you think is going to win between Cananeer versus MVP? I did put out a prediction for that one earlier. I think for Cananeer versus MVP, I think Michael Venom Page is going to get the job done. I think what Michael Venom Page is going to do, I think it's going to be a very, very boring fight. I don't think it's going to be exciting. I think MVP is going to do to Cananeer what Adesanya did to Cananeer. If you remember the title fights between Israel Adesanya versus Jared Cananeer, like that boring fight way back in, I think it was International Fight Week back in 2022, I think it was. It was a boring fight. I think what MVP is going to do, I think he's going to keep the distance. I think he's going to strike from the distance. I think he's going to counter strike. Maybe he's gonna throw a few flashy elbows for the fans, but overall I think it's gonna be a boring fight. But I think Michael Venom Page is gonna get the decision. And then we go back to Native Combat. Native Combat says Usman lost the third round against Hamza Chimaev. He's saying it's not a belief. LMFAO, it's an objective reality. Listen, if that's what you think, bro, then I can't really argue with you, man. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just think that when I watched the fight, I never rewatched the fights. I have to state that Kamaru Usman versus Hamza Chimaev. I never rewatched that fight. I only watched it live at UFC 308, and from what I saw live, I thought that Kamaru Usman won the first round and the third round. So yeah, I don't know. Another comment from Jesus Christ Lord. He says he always goes for the unanimous decision. He's talking about Michael Venom Page. Yeah, man, Michael Venom Page, he's got one of the best stand-up in the UFC, and I don't understand why he always goes for... I mean, I understand why he always goes for the decision. I mean, it's the smart route to victory to take, you know. He can't go for the finishes that he had when he was in Bellator, you know. In the UFC, you know, once you break into the top 10, or not even top 10, top 15, it's just high caliber fighters. So you do what you gotta do to win. And I understand why he takes that approach to most of his fights. We've got a commentator asking where can I watch the fight live. I don't know, man. I don't know what country you're in. If you're in South Africa, like I am, here in South Africa, you can watch the fight on Super Sports channel 210 tomorrow morning on Sunday. Yeah. So again, boys, I'm gonna go over the main card. Um, my main card prediction. I did the prelims prediction earlier on. We're gonna start from the bottom from the main card. We've got Team Elliot versus Kaya Sakura. It's not gonna go the full 3 rounds. Kaya Sakura gets the W. I think Kaya Sakura is gonna knock out Team Elliot in round one. And then we've got the second fight of the night on the main card. Cananeer versus Michael and Paige. MVP gets the job done. I think he's gonna take it to he's gonna get a decision over Cananeer. I think the striking of MVP is gonna be too much for Cananeer. I think the length or the reach of MVP is gonna be too much for Cananeer. And then another thing, boys, we have to remember that Jared Cananeer is 41 years old. He is the oldest fighter at UFC 319, so I think age is also going to be a factor. And then in the co-main events, we have Lerone Murphy versus Aaron Pico. I do have Lerone Murphy winning that fight by decision. Um, and then obviously the big one, the biggest fight of the year, the most chaotic fight that the UFC has ever put in place at middleweight. I think this is the biggest fight at middleweight. This is the listen. Dracos Duplaci versus Khamzat Chimayv is the biggest fight in middleweight history. This fight is bigger than Adesanya versus Boaton. Like I never thought that we would get to see a fight at middleweight that would have been bigger than Alex Pereira versus Adesanya because of the rivalry. They fought in kickboxing, and then Izzy dissed Alex Pereira. Then Alex Pereira decided to come into the UFC because Adesanya was talking too much, and then that obviously made that fight the biggest fight in middleweight history at the time. But then now Dracos Duplaci versus Khamzat Chimayv, two just chaotic fighters. This is the biggest fight in middleweight history, based on just styles and Khamzat Chimayv being a superstar and DDP carrying South Africa on his shoulders, an entire country. It's the biggest fights in middleweights, and for the biggest fights in middleweight history, Dracos Duplaci versus Khamzat Chimayv. I do have Dracos Duplaci getting the job done in round 2. TKO. I'm going to get a lot of hate for this prediction, but I'm going to have to go with my boy. The belt has to stay here in our country. It's staying in South Africa. It is staying here. Dracos Duplaci is going to TKO Khamzat Chimayv in round 2 tomorrow. That is my official prediction. Let's go back into the comment, boys. We've got Turkish Musasi. Who are you supporting, Khamzat or DDP? Just made the prediction. I'm going with my fellow countryman, Dracos Duplaci, man. Round 2, TKO. And then we've got Hedda Gaming saying, I've consumed so much content about this fight. I'm seeing it in my dreams. Bro, that's what's happening to me. Listen, I literally had a dream, right? I think it was 2 days ago. Right before... Yeah, it was 2 days ago, and I was waiting for the press conference. And the press conference was going to be live way later than when I normally go to sleep. So I did go to sleep earlier, and then I saw the fights in my head, and it was a war. It was a rock'em sock'em, and there was literally just blood everywhere. Like, bruh, like this. That's how excited I am for this fight. I literally had a dream about this fight, and it's never happened to me. Like I've been a fan of the UFC for a very long time now. And for me to actually dream about a fight shows how big of a fight this is, man. Like years from now, when we have UFC 400s, we're gonna talk about UFC 319. We're gonna talk about how big of a fight this was. But yeah, I'm still rocking with DDP, man. DDP all day. Dracus Duplaci. Um, another comment by Turkish Musahi saying Khamzat is gonna win. Who knows? We're gonna see tomorrow, bro. Couple more hours, and we're gonna see. And then we've got Network Engineer saying uh why do you think that Khamzat is not durable? Um a lot of fights before and problems with his cardio. He had I think he had COVID and he got very, very sick. He pulled out of the Robert Whittaker fights last year. And then he pulled out of many, many fights in 2020 because of his immune system. Plus, every time you see him fight, every time he fights and it goes past round two, he starts breathing out of his mouth. He seems fatigued. But yeah, man, I don't think that Khamzat is as durable as we think he is. I think he is a round one fighter. That's all Khamzat is. So yeah, that's my answer to your question. And then, ha, we've got a comment. We've got a funny comment here by Turkish Musasi saying, if Nelson Mandela was alive, he would support Khamzat for sure. I don't think so, man. Listen, if Nelson Mandela was alive, he would be backing Khamzat. He would be backing DDP for sure. Nelson Mandela was a massive fan sports. He was a massive supporter of the Box, which is our rugby team. He was a massive supporter of Bafana Bafana, which is our South African football team. And he would have been a massive supporter of Dracus Duplaci, that's for sure. Another comment by Rajesh saying DDP would definitely beat Khamzat. Hamzat will taste his first big loss against DDP. That's what I also think is gonna happen, bro. I think DDP gets the job done in round two. Um, Network Engineer saying Hamzat will mop the floor with DDP. I guess we're gonna have to wait, man. I mean, we have to remember that DDP is a proper middleweight. This is not Robert Whittaker. Dracus Duplaci is not Robert Whittaker. Dracus is very, very big. He's got one of the best takedown defenses in the UFC. So, can Khamzat Chimayv take him down? Yes. Can Khamzat Chimayv keep him down? Yes. But is Dracus going to stand up? Yes. Is Dracus going to take down Khamzat Chimayv? Yes. And is Dracus Duplaci bigger than Khamzat Chimayv? And the answer is yes. I read somewhere that Dracus Duplaci walks around at 230 pounds, and Khamzat Chimayv walks around at 215, I think. So Dracus is definitely bigger. But yeah, man. Massive, massive fights ahead of us. We've got Header Gaming saying, I hope he wins. He's saying, I hope he wins because if UFC goes to South Africa, then we can get more Africans in the UFC. Yeah, man. That's one of the reasons why I hope that the champion Dracus Duplaci gets the job done. But for me, I just want the UFC to come here, man. Listen, the PFL was able to come here. They came to Cape Town. Not only did the PFL come here once, they came here twice in 1 year. I think it was in 2 months. The PFL came to South Africa 2 times in 1 year in 2 months. So if the PFL can come here, then the UFC has to come here, man, because we have a South African champion. Yeah, I hope the UFC comes here and they bring a pay per view to a stadium in South Africa, most likely Johannesburg or Durban. It's closer to where I am. I am in Durban, and Johannesburg It's not very far from where I think it's a 6 hour drive from where I live, or at least a 6 hour drive from Durban. But yeah, man, that's also one of the reasons why I want DDP to win. And then you've got another comments here by you've got another comments here by Wixon saying you look like Jordan Levitt. Wow, so you're saying I look like a gay guy? That is an insane comment, bro. Like that is an insane comment. I think it's because of the hair. Just because you said that, I'm cutting my hair. I'm cutting my hair if I look like Jordan Levitt. I'm cutting my hair. Um, you've got Header Gaming saying Nelson always supports homegrown athletes. That is a fact. Another comment by Sarish Rahod saying who supports Khamzat? Whoever supports Khamzat didn't watch Burns versus Khamzat. How Burns fought against him was good. Yeah, man. Burns versus Khamzat was a massive, massive fight. I think it was the fight of the year back in 2023. That was the fight that really made Khamzat Chimayv like a star. That made him a superstar in the UFC. It was a big fight. And then we've got Network Engineer. Network Engineer, I'm assuming you're South African, bro. So okay, man, thank you for the support. I see you keep on commenting, and make sure to subscribe, man. Thank you for the support. Network Engineer says DDP won against Strickland. Khamzat will kill Sean Strickland and Adesanya. Um, Adesanya one after another, and Whitaker finished within Whitaker. Whitaker he finished within 3 minutes. DDP went 2 rounds. Um, yeah, listen, I get where your comments is coming from, but guys, what we have to remember is that styles make fights. Styles make fights, and Trickus, in my opinion, is the best MMA fighter in the middleweight division. Um, yeah, he finished Whitaker in round two. Chimaev finished Whitaker in round one. I get that, but we all know that Whitaker isn't the biggest middleweight. Plus, Khamzat is like the best wrestler in the UFC right now. So, yeah, man. Um, network network engineer says that Khamzat would kill Sean Strickland. Who knows? I've heard rumors that they sparred in Las Vegas, and that apparently Khamzat Chimaev got beaten up by Sean Strickland on the feet. Just pure boxing. I don't think they wrestled when they were training, but just pure boxing. I heard that Khamzat Chimaev lost. And then we've got Boars. I'm not gonna read the Boars comments. Don't know why you gotta be a hater, bro, and bring all that negative energy onto the chat. Wow, there's a. I don't think I've ever gotten this many comments before. We'll still continue with the comments, man. We've got obviously Boz, who is Khamzat Chimaev fan, obviously showing love for Khamzat Chimaev in the chat. Listen again, guys. Before I continue, I hope you guys are subscribing. I really want to get my subscribers up. I have to get my subscribers up so I can start doing membership, and so you guys can start donating and all of that. So yeah, man. I hope you guys are enjoying the content that I'm pushing out. This is me. This is me. I am a massive MMA fan. Check out the channel. It is Zar-Kombat. I've got a lot of videos, a lot of reactions to pay-per-views, fight nights, just everything UFC based, MMA based. I've got some breaking news on fights that are gonna happen. And again, guys, I just want to bring this up. I heard that Alexandre Topuria versus Malcolm Warmaker is happening later this year. That's the one of the biggest fights at bantamweight right now. Obviously, Alexandre Topuria is the brother of Elliot Topuria, and then Malcolm Warmaker, the biggest prospects at bantamweight right now. Um, I cannot wait for that fight, man. Cannot wait for that fight. But again, we are back to talking about UFC 319 going down tomorrow. At least for me, it's going down tomorrow in South Africa. Tomorrow morning. Um, I have laid out my predictions, and for the biggest fight in middleweight history, again, I've got for anyone that's new in the chat, I do have DDP getting a TKO victory over Khamzat Chimaev in round two. Let me see what these guys are saying in the comments, man. I love how I'm rage baiting all the Khamzat Chimaev fanboys. All the Khamzat Chimaev fanboys are going crazy in the comments. We've got a comment here from Network Engineer saying, bro, honestly, what wrestling defense does DDP have? Tell me honestly. Tell me one fight where DDP faced a grappler, wrestler like Khamzat, or at least 50% of Khamzat. Tell me. I will watch that fight. Listen, I'll be honest with you, bro. If you look at the people that DDP has faced in the UFC alone, just in the UFC, because I wasn't really familiar with Dracus obviously was a former champion at KSW, so I didn't really watch most of his fights back then. Um, he also fought here in South Africa for the EFC. There's not really a lot of high caliber fighters in the EFC, but just to answer your question, man, and I am being brutally honest when I say this. When we look at the resume of DDP, right? You've got he debuted in 2020, so when I look at the opponents that he's faced, he's got 9 wins in the UFC. So out of the nine guys that he's faced in the UFC, the best wrestler that he has faced, but not even wrestler, let me say the fighter that had the most wrestling credentials was I wanna be very careful when I answer this question. I think it was Derek Bronson. Yeah, Derek Bronson. I think he's one of he's NCAA champion or whatever in wrestling. Like he's got a lot of credentials in wrestling. He was able to take down DDP. DDP was able to get back up. Even Robert Whitaker was able to take down DDP, and he did get back up. Um, I think also who else? I think Brett Tavares also took down DDP when he fought him. He's not really a wrestler, but guys, what we have to remember, like, listen, network engineer, what you have to remember is that this is not a wrestling fight, a wrestling match. I'm not saying that Khamzat Chimaev is not going to take down DDP. Khamzat Chimaev will take down DDP. Even Dracus said this. He said, "I will get taken down." Um, but what he did say is, when I get taken down, I will stand back up. That's what he said. And the fact that um, he's so aware and so respectful of Khamzat Chimaev's wrestling game, the fact that he respects the wrestling so much, I know that he has done the proper preparation to get up. To get up when he gets taken down, when he's in those uncomfortable positions, and he's against the cage, and he's getting ground and pounded, and Chimaev is looking for different submissions on the ground. I believe that DDP is gonna get back up because he admitted that he will get taken down. He admitted that Chimaev is obviously a better wrestler than him. He's got all the credentials, but it is not a wrestling match. It is an MMA fight. Um, and the only reason why I'm saying is this is because Kamaru Usman, when he fought Khamzat Chimaev, he kept on saying that you know Chimaev is not going to take me down. I'm an NCAA champion. I'm the best wrestler. in the UFC. And as soon as Usman said that, I didn't like that because now it's almost as if like he's not being respectful of Khamzat Chimayev's wrestling game. And so the fact that DDP is saying that I will get taken down, I will get back up, and I will take down Khamzat Chimaev. That for me is enough for me to believe that yeah, Drake is gonna be able to that's enough for me to believe that Dracos Duplaci will be able to get back up and defend most of the takedowns. Not only defend, but get back up in those uncomfortable positions. That is my thought, guys. I have been online for a while now. I do have to leave, guys, but yeah, man, it is Zar-Kombat all the way from SA. It has been the UFC 319 pre-fight live stream, the last one before the fight, going down tomorrow morning for me in South Africa. Maybe it's tomorrow, maybe it's today, later today for you if you're in a different country. I don't know. But yeah, man, I will be live for UFC 319. I will be live streaming, so I'm hoping to see all of you guys. There's a lot of you guys in the chats. I want to see all of you guys in the chats. Make sure to look out for Zar-Kombat, Zarkombat, at Zar-Kombat. Live stream, UFC 319. It's going down, I think, around 15 hours from now. The biggest fight card of the year, man. The main card is so special. I would have liked for us to have had a better co-main event because I think Little Murphy versus Aaron Pico, the UFC could have done so much better, man. Like for this card, they could have done so much better. But we're gonna have to take what they give us. But yeah, man, it has been fun. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for staying with me on the live stream. Please make sure to subscribe, guys. Let's get my subscribers up. Again, I will be live streaming UFC 319, and I hope to see all of you guys there or on the chat. And yeah, man. To all my South Africans, hopefully DDP gets the job done. And to everyone from Russia, Abu Dhabi, Saudi Arabia, if you're in the chat, I know you're backing Khamzat Chimaev, so all the best to Khamzat Chimaev as well. Because at the end of the day, man, these are two men that are just fighting to, change their lives, and to just, what I mean? Just, like we're all trying to do. We're all trying to, make a better life for ourselves. That's what I'm trying to do with this YouTube thing. I see it's working out. A lot of people have been subscribing and liking and following me on Instagram. And I'm also on TikTok, guys. On TikTok, I am at Zar-Kombat. Zarkombat. Let's get my subscribers up, man, on TikTok. I need to get my followers up on TikTok. I'm also on Instagram at Zar-Kombat. Zarkombat. So make sure to follow me on TikTok as well. Follow me on Instagram as well. It is Zar-Kombat. It is my the same handle I am on YouTube. It's the same handle I am on TikTok and on Instagram. But yeah, boys, it has been fun. Thank you for staying with me on this live stream. Please like, please subscribe, and as always, guys, it is Zar-Kombat. I cannot wait for UFC 319, man. DDP versus Khamzat, biggest fight of the year. Yeah. See you guys on the live stream, man. See you on the live stream. Make sure to be in the chat when I'm on live for UFC 319. DDP versus Khamzat Chimaev. What a fight. What a fight. The UFC gets a lot of hate nowadays for putting on, lackluster pay-per-views and fights that the fans don't want to see. But, every once in a game, like we get a pay-per-view like UFC 300, a pay-per-view like UFC 308, a pay-per-view like UFC 257, a pay-per-view like UFC 311, and then a pay-per-view like UFC 319. You know, this is the type of this is the type of like this is the reason why we love MMA. Is because we get to have fights like Duplaci versus Hamza Chimaev. I cannot wait, boys. I cannot wait. As much as I do have I do have DDP winning. Who knows? Maybe Hamzat could also win. I don't know, but what a fight! I just hope it's a fun fight, and I hope we're all getting what we paid for, and I hope both men put it all on the line, and they give us a fun fight. But yeah, man, Zar-Kombat. Make sure to subscribe to my channel, Zar-Kombat, Zarkombat. It's been fun. I have to leave. See you at the UFC 319 live stream. I will be live. Come back. I hope to see you all in the chat. See you all in the chat, boys. See you.